Good morning, friends. You might have heard about REST API. Whenever you wanted to extract the data from any other sources, either GitHub, Twitter, Facebook, and so on. So, whenever you want to extract the data from any other source, you need API, you need REST API. So, what exactly the REST API is, how it works, what is the anatomy of REST API, is always a questions that need to be clarified. It is one of the very fastest growing technologies in the current scenario. Reason being, it is very lightweight communication protocol between one application to other, and hence everybody prefer REST API is the communication protocol and get the data and leverage it for their different downstream applications. So for today's scenario, REST API is one of the key component for any organizations to leverage their product and become a profitable organizations. But how REST API can be developed and what are the different anatomy that we are going to share briefly with you. API is nothing but an application programming interface which allows to communicate with the server or one program to other. Now REST API is a representational state transfer which dictates certain methods and certain protocols to communicate from one program to other programs. It has certain methods, certain basic rules that need to be followed in order to develop an API and get the data. So at high level, REST API is structured in four anatomies. One, the methods. Second, the URLs or endpoints. Third, the headers. And fourth, the resources. So the endpoints is the one which is URL. That URL which either you or me is consumed or exposed to the outside world. So URL is nothing but consists of the server name, port name, and the context of the applications or root of name of the application and the different path that you will use to distinguish your URL is unique for that particular service that you wanted to represent as part of these endpoints. So there will be root path which represents the context of your applications. There will be path of appended at the end of the URL which represents what services that you wanted to segregate based on certain path and so on. So endpoint is nothing but the URLs that you will communicate to outside world to expose your data or that you will use your API or consume your API to get the data from outside sources. So these are the key component as far as REST API is concerned. The other thing is method. Method is nothing but a mechanism by which either client make a request to the server and get the data. For example, when you make a GET request, you are essentially saying that you wanted to get the data out of the server. For example, you wanted to search something in a video, you need to invoke a REST API to get the list of the related search that you wanted out of that YouTube server. So that endpoint is a search endpoint which will give you the list of related search terms related to your video search content. Similarly, the post request. Post request is nothing but you are making a changes to the server. There will be some entry into the database It is nothing but equal to a create method or create request. Suppose you want to add a new entry into the database, you will definitely create a post request and get the changes. And similarly, the put method, which is equivalent to the update request. You wanted to modify something into the database, so probably the best way that you will leverage the put method of the REST representation protocol. And similarly, delete method, which will delete the entry into the database server. So four methods, get, put, post and delete, are the key methods for REST API to leverage. Now header, which is very important. When you want to authenticate with the server, you need to pass certain headers. For example, content type, what kind of response, either is JavaScript, JSON or XML response that you are interested with. So that header information is important, along with some authentication mechanism. So header will basically make sure that the communications with the server happens through certain uh, metadata, which will make sure that what kind of response that you are looking from and what kind of authentications entry that you have passed while you making to the server. So header information is very important. So this is the high level overview of REST API. I think you uh, got it, what exactly the REST API, what is the different anatomy of REST API and how it works. With this note, this is Nirpa Chitri signing out for today. See you in the next video. Bye bye.